Welcome, everyone, to the Wisconsin Faith and Solar Initiative Stories. We are happy to have Tom Schuppe here from the Open Circle Unitarian Universalist Fellowship in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. I'm Huda Alkaff. I'm the founder and director of Wisconsin Green Muslims, and I'm also the coordinator of the Wisconsin Faith and Solar Initiative. And we are happy to share solar stories from our faith communities all over the Wisconsin. So with that, welcome Shupi. Please take it away.
Huda, thank you for inviting me to tell the story of our fellowship and its work with solar power. We formed our fellowship about 17 years ago, and today we have 65 members. We recognized very early that many of our members were very interested in the environment and especially in solar energy and renewable energy. At the time we formed our fellowship, we didn't have our own building, but when we purchased and remodeled our building, we started planning for solar. This slide is actually the roof of our facility. We have 18 solar panels there, and they were installed in 2014. And that was a big investment for us. The system continues to operate today flawlessly. It saves us money, and it does not generate any carbon dioxide. So we're very pleased with it. This is a photo of that was taken at our dedication ceremony for our panels back in 2014 when they were completed. If you'll look carefully at the picture, just to the right of the solar panel is Huda. She was there for the dedication ceremony, and we remember this very fondly. Also, there's another gentleman standing there just off Huda's right shoulder. He's wearing a blue shirt and yellow tie. That's Tyler Hebner. He was the executive director of Renew Wisconsin. They advised us in this process and were very helpful, and he came and helped us with our dedication. Finally, at the left edge of the solar panel there is a gentleman with a baseball cap on. That is Jim Funk. He was the installer for us, and he basically did a fantastic job and has worked with us and advised us over all these years. So we're very pleased that Jim was on our team. You're probably wondering what this cost us, and these are our costs. The original cost in 2014 was just over $23,000. Today, I believe this same installation would be considerably cheaper, but at the time we bought it, that's what it cost. We funded it largely from donations from our members. And you can see 18,000 plus came directly from our members as contributions. We did get a nice grant from Focus on Energy, and that certainly helped us get this completed and done. This is a slide, and I apologize if graphics scare you. I'm an engineer, so I'm very comfortable with this, but it's pretty straightforward. This is the black line on there represents our average cost in the 4 years preceding the installation of the solar panels. The cost is by month, so the first dot is January and so on and so forth for the rest of the year. The red line is the actual cost that we incurred in 2015 after the solar panels were installed. You can see we did quite well. We had some very large savings, especially in the summertime. We don't use our facility much during the day. It's mostly weekends and evenings. So if we have a beautiful sun shining out there in the middle of July on a Wednesday, we're making a lot of electricity, but selling most of it back to the utility. And the net result is that they're paying us instead of we're paying them for that month. And that's what it shows when the red line dips below the zero value. That says the utility is paying us. So that worked quite well for us. And that's just a sample of how we did in 2015. This is a little more detailed, but I think this will maybe help you understand overall how we've done. The first line there shows again the actual electricity consumption that we had in those 4 years from 2011 to 2014. It was just over 6,000 kilowatts. After that, in the following 5 years, which were normal usage for us, and we grew considerably during this period, our average yearly consumption was 5,500 kilowatts. And you might look at it and say, well, that's not much of an improvement over the 6,000. But remember, we were growing and using our facility a lot more, and so we were using more electricity. In addition to using more electricity, we were also selling a lot of our electricity back to the utility. When we weren't using it and it was being produced, it was being sold to the utility. And that's the third line there for 2015 and 2019 shows that we actually sold them an average of over 3,800 kilowatt hours per year. So the net result there was the purchases we made, which we might have done because we were using the electricity in the evening or on a cloudy day. We purchased that 5,500, but then we also sold them 3,800. So the net purchase there was only about 1,683 kilowatt hours per year. So our total actual consumption dropped from 6,000 to 1,683. That basically represents a reduction of about 72% of our utility cost just went away because of the solar panels. And we were very excited about that. In addition to our facility, many of our members have really gotten attached to solar and have installed it in their homes. This is just one photo of one of our members' homes, and I believe he has 16 solar panels on his roof. Here's another one, and I believe he has 18 there, and he's done very well. I know him personally, and that's worked out well. This photo here is a slightly different installation that belongs to one of our members who has a large yard behind their garage. That's the garage on the left. And I think there's 26 solar panels there. And this person is employing these solar panels to mostly support the electricity needs in her home, but she also is driving a Tesla. And she's very pleased with this because it really offsets the cost of running her Tesla. So that's a good thing for her too. In addition to our members getting strong support for solar, we've also been advocates in our community for getting solar. This is a picture of Pilgrim United Church of Christ, also in Fond du Lac, and they heard about our solar installation and came to us and said, hey, can you talk to us, tell us how this works and advise us? So we sat down, we had 3 or 4 meetings with them and explained what happened. We gave them a tour of our facility, and ultimately we introduced them to our installer, Jim Funk. And he went and talked to him, made a proposal to him, and they bought it. And they've now had this solar, I think, for 3 or 4 years, and they're very happy with it. They're actually getting a lot better production than we are because they have more solar panels, but that's working very well for them. So we've worked really hard to get out there and also advertise in our community about solar and make sure everybody really understands both the costs and the benefits of this. Today, we're working on several promotions here of promoting solar energy. The first one has actually come to fruition. About 5 years ago, we approached Alliant Energy, our local utility, and suggested to them that they ought to start up a community solar program. initially they looked at us rather confused and said, well, why would we do that? And we said, because your customers want it. And they weren't too excited. A year later, they called us back and said, let's talk about that again. And we did. And they followed up on it, did a lot of investigating, a lot of planning. Last December, they announced the initiation of a community solar program for Fond du Lac. This program has essentially almost been sold out now. It's just got a handful of solar panels still available for sale, and it will become fully operational in December. And I bought into it, and I know many other people bought into it, and that's going to give us access to solar power without any real modifications to our homes or anything like that. We'll get the benefit of the solar, but we don't have to build it here. They're actually building it out in the country in a field, and so it's going to work very well. The second initiative we took was we were talking to our library director here in Fond du Lac, who also is a member of our church, and he said he would really like to put solar panels on his library. And so we organized a committee about over a year ago, about 15 months ago. And we have some prominent members from the city, but we also have on our 9-member committee, we have 5 members from our church because they're very knowledgeable and very energetic in getting this done. We've already received 1 grant to replace all the internal lighting in our library with LED technology. We received that grant last January, and we're now working with a construction schedule with the city to get it done. We expect that to be done this fall. In addition, now we've received another gift of $85,000 from our Friends of the Library Committee. This is just a support group that supports the library in many ways. We just received this last month, and that will be applied against the actual installation of the solar panels. The preliminary design of the solar panels now, because this is much larger than what we put on our facility, this will be about $270,000. But we're still in the process of raising funds, and we're continuing grant applications for solar panel installation. There are surprisingly a fair number of grant sources out there, and we've learned to find them, and we've also learned how to write up very good grant requests. So we're continuing on that. Our library roof is actually going to be replaced next spring, and so we couldn't put anything up any sooner than that. But following the roof replacement next spring, we anticipate that the solar panels will be put up, that we will have more than enough funds for it, and we're very excited about that. I think what we've done is we started with a relatively modest goal of just using solar panels on our facility, but we've been carried away by our enthusiasm, and we're now spreading it throughout the community. We have some other ideas that we're percolating, and we hope to be able to get a lot more activity going. So thank you, Huda. I appreciate having had this opportunity to speak today. And I want you to know we will continue advocating for solar in the Fond du Lac community. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tom, for this great story here, and lots of enthusiasm, and definitely it's great to hear that multiple things happening, not just in Fond du Lac, by the way. Your inspiration now to the whole state and beyond. So thank you very much for sharing your story here with the Wisconsin Faith and Solar Initiative, and we'll be connecting. So again, the Wisconsin Faith and Solar Initiatives work with over 18 different faith traditions and spiritualities in Wisconsin. I'm Huda Alkaff, founder and director of Wisconsin Green Muslims and the coordinator of Wisconsin Faith and Solar Initiative. Thank you very much, and shine on.